Hello everybody and welcome back to the railway. Now it's been a good week since I've made any videos. I know the Class 37 in the garden came out on Sunday, but I did film that a long time ago, so that doesn't really count. So this week I've actually been renovating the layout, or at least the scenic part of the layout, which is of course the section along the left side. And of course it doesn't look particularly different to the untrained eye. But that's probably because that is just old footage. And this is actually the way it looks like. So here's the grand reveal. This is the top end, of course. We haven't got the lights on yet, but it's all finished. As you can tell, I've removed a lot of the old buildings. I think all of them actually. All of the old paper buildings I've made. There's one left I know, but that's further down, I'll show you that in a minute. But apart from that, I've removed all of the old buildings and printed out some new ones. Now all this stuff, at least the card kits, are from a website called Wordsworth Model Railway. And I thought I'd better mention that because it's well worth checking out. They've got loads of different paper kits, and that's where 90% of these models you'll see today were from. And they're excellent kits. So I'm going to give you some closer looks at what I've been doing, and then we'll move down to the bottom end. Alright, so the first thing is these huts. You can remember the huts before, they were a little bit cheesy, but of course now these are sitting on tarmac, which helps to cover the gap between the paper. And we've got some of these gorgeous grass tufts, which are, you can find them on eBay, and they're really lovely. They really help to contrast things. Of course there's a house here, I forget the names of the buildings, they do have names, which is also on the tarmac. And there's lots of flowers and things like that. There's also some lichen, or lichen, I don't know which, but they're, there for bushes and things, and trees like this one. This has also got some of the yellow on it to make it look like, flowers, perhaps blossom. Behind there I've built an engine shed, which I would like to put lights into actually, but I haven't yet, because I've not actually put any new wires in, it's all using the same lights. Behind there I've got some more of the lichen stuff, which is helping to, disguise the base of the turbine. And of course I wouldn't want to forget the big textiles factory. I was going to change the chimney to say Sam's Trains, which I suppose would have been a bit silly, but I did forget to do that in the end, so it still says textiles. Now behind there is a signal box, which is a little bit hidden, but not really, and that's a new thing. This building was always here, of course, this little station building, but I've now moved it to where one of those porter cabins used to be, and I've paved it as well. Behind the station I've got the biggest tree on the layout now, a big lichen tree. It's actually got some red berries in it. If I zoom in, you can just about see them there, though the camera doesn't like it too much, and that's sitting on a bed of scatter with the yellow daisies again. Then we've got the pair of Christmas trees that I made, branch by branch I should say. Now this isn't supposed to be snow on them, because that would be a bit silly, because it's clearly not a winter layout, but it was supposed to be sort of white blossom, so if you ever see that in the future, I'm sorry, it looks like snow. It does look like snow, I'll admit, but it wasn't supposed to. And at the base of those, my favourite little patch, I've got some red flowers there on the grass as well. And you'll see lots more of this sort of burnt grass as well. And yeah, this used to be a black and white stone path, but it's now just ballast gravel with some more of the, I think it's the conifer scatter with white flowers in it as well. And this bit's all reasonably similar. Of course there is a bit more detail on the track bed. And as we look up the rails, you can see that there's a little bit more detail here and there. I suppose that's probably the biggest change. I'm trying to disguise where the mountains start a little bit on the other side as well. I suppose now is a good time to go and look at the other end. So here's the other end. It's not quite as impressive, if impressive is the word, not really, but I don't like it quite as much. It's probably a bit emptier, isn't it? But I don't want it all to be too jam-packed. Of course here's the only remaining building that is my design on the layout, and it's pretty horrible. It's quite overscaled as well compared to the others, but I kept it because it's the first one I ever did. We've got a Tudor house here, there's a pub, which of course is sitting in the exact place the old pub sat. but it's also got this really cool, I don't know, tunnel. It would have had a beer garden, but there isn't really space. There's bushes and things around there with the red flowers. A tree which has fallen over at the moment. I'm literally about to fix that. We've just had a storm, unfortunately, and it's left things a little bit windswept. In fact, the whole thing looks a bit different, doesn't it? You've got this, I think this was called, it might have been called Heather Cottage, or that might have been the one behind it, which is really quite picturesque. I quite like that style of building. Of course, all this has now been tarmacked. A lot of the people are still missing, but I'll put some of them back in. You've got these two little cottages, which are really cute, I think, and they're very easy to build. You can print those on one piece of paper each. So it's very economical, let's say. And of course there's bushes. This is all very much the same. I've still got my picnic scene, so I like that. But there's bushes and flowers, and trees. Now the fundamentals are still the same. Of course, we've still got the two big hill structure with the windmill and the houses on this side. But, you know, so nothing major's changed. Like I say, I've not put any new LEDs in. It's all on the old LED system. As you remember, there was a big house here, a big house there. I've split that up into one smaller house and two even smaller houses, because the houses that were here before were a bit over scale. Now I look at these. Then over the fence we've got the big terrace house, I would say, possibly, which is replacing the two smaller buildings that were there before. And yeah, I'll switch the lights on now so that you can see it, but it's really underwhelming. The card that I've used to make these is a lot thicker, so it really is only the windows that light up now. There's a lot less light that shines through the actual card, which means that the illumination is perhaps a bit more realistic, but it's not quite as obvious, I suppose. But yeah, I'll find the remote and I'll switch it all on. Here we go, and there's the lights. So yeah, we've still got the two huts that are lit. This cottage is lit as well. The factory's got a couple of lights in it. Although the old factory, this, did have a pair. One of them was failing, so I've actually replaced that. Apart from that failing LED, I've not added any more, as I said. Of course, this cottage has got one, or the station I should say, and the old station. That's what the old lights used to look like. That one is paper. So that is another one that's still mine, that's still there. But it's a big job to replace that, as is this. Now I was going to run a couple of locos today, just, you know, so you get used to the new look. But this inner line is out of action, I'm afraid, at the moment. I've ordered some new track. It's all behind here where you can't see. Yeah, track work going on with that line. It shouldn't be long, but this outer line is working fine. So I've got the 3F, which I'm hoping will give us a quick show. It's not really a running video, more of a layout update video again. But yeah, it will just show you what's going on. Right, let's give it a try. Here's another thing that I forgot to show. It's of course the old problem of the curled mountain, and all I've done here is just taken a piece of foam which I've cut together and, you know, made into a shape, stuck some ballast on for the stony edge, and then I've started to cover the edges with some foliage. It's just clump foliage, and what I'm going to do is disguise that even more with a bit more of that lichen or lichen, but that's for another day. Here's the train anyway. So please do let me know what you think about the new stuff anyway. I'm quite pleased with it. I didn't think I was capable of making something look half decent, but I certainly think it looks better, if not a lot better. Yeah, back to regular videos again pretty soon. I'm hoping once the track's fixed you will see more videos. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I'll give you a last look for the day. before we come back another time. But yeah, this is my favourite spot, definitely. And I hope it looks a lot better compared to what it did. So thank you for watching, thank you for your patience, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye!